Faras's adventures in the dense forest. Scene 1. Entering the dense forest. At the forest's edge, the trees swayed gently with the morning breeze, their thick branches meeting above to form a natural canopy that stretched for miles. The tree trunks were rugged, etched with deep lines and circles marking the passage of time. The dark brown of the trunks contrasted with the thick green of the interlocked leaves that blocked out the sky. The forest floor was damp and soft, covered with a thick layer of fallen leaves that emitted a faint rustle as Faras walked over them. Small plants with shiny green leaves sprouted on the sides, with water droplets on their tips glinting like tiny diamonds. Suddenly, a dark green frog leaped from the grass and disappeared into a small pond that clearly reflected the sky and surrounding leaves. In the background, the air was filled with the fresh scent of pine and damp moss, while the distant sound of flowing water suggested that the forest extended endlessly. Scene 2. Meeting the fox. Under a giant oak tree, the leaves seemed to whisper to each other as a light breeze stirred them. Suddenly, a small fox with bright orange fur appeared, sneaking out from the thick blackberry bushes. Its tail was long and fluffy, swaying with each movement, as if dancing with the wind. As the fox circled Faras, leaves swirled randomly in the air, some landing gently on his shoulders. In the distance, the sound of woodpeckers echoed between the trees as quick squirrels moved like light shadows on high branches. The fox gazed at Faras with wide black eyes, reflecting a spark of curiosity, while its light footsteps were barely audible on the soft ground. The sun began to set behind the trees, turning the colors in the background to warm shades of orange and red, making the forest appear like a living natural painting. Scene 3. Crossing the river. When Faras reached the river, the current was strong, and the water flowed rapidly, crashing against the large rocks scattered throughout. The water's surface reflected the sky's light blue color, with white clouds appearing to float above it. The river was teeming with motion, as small fish leaped above the surface, leaving behind successive water rings. The bank was lined with wet pebbles gleaming under the sunlight, and the air was filled with the fresh scent of silt mixed with the fragrance of wildflowers growing on both sides. Faras steadied his feet on the first stone, while the fox balanced lightly on his shoulder. As Faras leaped from one stone to another, water spray flew into the air, reflecting sunlight, creating small rainbows that appeared and vanished quickly. It seemed as if the river tried to stop him, but he resisted bravely until he reached the other bank, exhausted but smiling. Scene 4. Meeting the wise owl. As evening approached, the forest began to change. A strange calm settled, and only the sound of the gentle wind stirring the leaves was heard. At a massive tree with a gnarled trunk filled with cracks and protrusions, a wise owl appeared. Its eyes were big as gemstones, reflecting the silvery moonlight, and its gray feathers seemed as soft as silk with a faint sheen. The owl landed in complete silence, as if part of the shadows. The wind moved gently around them, as if conveying the owl's words in inaudible whispers. At that moment, tiny fireflies lit up everywhere, appearing like scattered stars among the trees.